Welcome everyone to our another topic. Now for today's lesson, we will be discussing the simple past tense. Now before we go deeper in simple past tense, let's just define what past tense is. So when we say past tense, it used to talk about things that happened or existed before now. Meaning to say it happened previously. We have here an example. Jenny went to the mall. Now, looking at the sentence, which part of the sentence do you think the verb is? Correct. That is the went. Now, what tense do you think went is? It is in the past. Very good. Let's move on to the second one. Jake and I watched the movie. Now, with this example, which do you think is the verb? We have watch. Which tense it is? Correct. That is in past tense. Moving on to the third example, we have Jay was an excellent dancer. Now, with this example, we have was as our verb, and of course, again, it is in the form of past tense. Now, those three examples shows us the simple past tense of the verb. We also have two ways on how we can identify the verb in past form. We have the irregular verb and we also have the regular verb. Now, for us to better understand what regular verb is, let's go ahead and define it. It usually ends with an ed or d form added to the base form of the verb. We have here an example of the base verb: clean, watch, talk, jump, walk, travel, interview. Now, all we need to do is just to add a d and ed at the end of this simple past tense or this simple base form in order to form our regular verb. Let's move on to the example. We have Steve and Anton watch the movie. This is in the simple present tense. How do we change the base form watch into past tense? We just have to add ed at the end of it. Therefore, it will be Steve and Anton watch the movie. There you go. Let's now move on to the second example. Here we have Sophia cleaned the room. Again, we have the base form of the verb clean. By adding ed at the end of it, we have cleaned. Sophia cleaned the room, making it the regular past tense of the verb. Moving on to the third example, we have Jessa agreed to accept the proposal. Agree is the base form of the verb. Now, by adding d at the end of it, we have Jessa agreed to accept the proposal. Hence, we have the past tense of the verb. Understood? Awesome. Now it's your turn. Here sets of examples that you have to complete and answer on your own. All you have to do is just to change the base form of the verb into its past form to complete the sentence. Ready? Let's go ahead and start. Alright, how many questions you got correctly? So since we're done already with the regular verb, we also have another way in order for us to form the past tense of the verb. That is the irregular form of the verb. Let's define first what is irregular. When we say irregular, these are verbs that don't need to add a D or an ED at the end of it. All we need to do is just to change the spelling to form a past form or no change at all. For us to figure out and to better understand what irregular is, let's go ahead and proceed with this following example. Let's start with example number 1. In this example, the sentence is, Jake come to my office yesterday. Come is the base form of the verb. In order for us to get the past tense, we just have to change its spelling. Therefore, we have Jake came to my office yesterday, making came as the past tense of the verb. Let's proceed now to the second example. Jewel make Elena a simple dinner. Now in this example, our present tense or base form of the verb is make. How do we change make into past tense? We just have to change the spelling. Made. Now we got Jewel made Elena a simple dinner. There you go. So those of the first two examples that we have shows as an example of verb which change their spelling in order to make the past tense of the verb. Now in the third example that we have, she hurt herself this morning. As you can see, the base form of the verb hurt. We don't change the spelling at all in order for us to get the past tense of the verb. It is as is. Clear so far? So just like what you did in the exercise for the regular verb, you are going to make another exercise for a regular verb for you to practice the mastery on the subject itself. You have to identify first the main or the base form of the verb and then change its spelling to get the irregular verb of the sentence.